Today I'm going to tell you about the one watch that has just left the collection I never thought would leave. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today is probably the toughest show I've ever had to make.
So welcome back, watch lovers and enthusiasts. I'm reaching out to everybody tonight to let you know about a deep dive into the emotional journey that every collector can relate to, parting with a beloved Rolex Explorer. Well, not exactly every collector, but for those that have experienced it or those who have experienced parting with a watch in general that they cared about, this video is for you. Enjoy.
Because I've parted ways with a watch that is quite sentimental to me. And it just gives you another example of how cruel this hobby can be. Still fun though. Anyway, before I give you the whole story, today's show is sponsored by BQ Watches. If you are looking for the best pre-owned luxury watches, not only in the UK, but worldwide, these guys are recommended by the Mad Watch Collector channel. The staff there are phenomenal, and I hear countless stories of those guys going the extra lengths to make us clients happy. Not only do BQ offer a 14-day return policy, but when you do buy one of the watches, they offer a 2-year warranty. And for all those reasons, that is why if anyone asks, where should I buy my pre-owned luxury watch from? It's definitely BQ. Right, onto the show. And where do we start? One of the main reasons why I'm into watches today is because of my granddad. He was a self-made successful man, built his house with his own 2 hands and other people that helped him. But whenever he went out to formal dues, he always wore this black Rolex, and I can picture him wearing it now. And I remember saying to myself,
when I'm older, I'm gonna have a snazzy watch like that.
He had it on a Jubilee bracelet, which is why I have a fondness and a soft spot for those as well. But he bought this Rolex Explorer in 1968. It was the 5500. Now this was a 34mm Explorer. What? They didn't come in 34mm? Ah, well, at this time, in the late 60s, Rolex wanted to market themselves to a younger audience. And guess what? They felt that 36mm, which the 1016 was a bit too big. If only those guys saw the watch market now. Exactly. If they saw an Invicta Bolt, they'd probably have a Connery. Anyway, this was an Air King case with an Explorer dial on. Now, in 2018, my grandfather Georgie passed away, and I wanted to use some of it to commemorate him. And of course, that's it. I had to get myself an Explorer, just like he had. So I went down to the local lanes and was put on the mythical waiting list for a 214270. Well, blow me, it only took 2 weeks, and I got a call from Lanes saying the watch was in, you can come and buy it. Now the 214270 is a 39mm case watch. I knew that for me and my 6.5-inch wrist, I was gonna have to force myself to love the size. But in 2018, I had no relationships with pre-owned watch companies, no relationships with ADs, no friendships or relationships with watch nerds. Like myself, I was too scared going down the second-hand market, so I went new. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that watch, and I tried to wear it as many times as I could to stack memories on it, you know. But over the years, my love for Rolex sort of waned a bit. Not the products, but everything around the brand I just liked less and less. And unfortunately, the more the years went on, the less I wore the watch.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Well, a couple of months ago, thanks to BQ Watches, I was very lucky enough to review the 14270. Now, this reference was very important. It first came out in 1989, and it superseded the 1016, which had been running for 27 years. Anyway, this new Explorer reference paved the way for a new dial, new movement, yet still felt a vintage watch. And it sounds funny to say, but I felt connected to it more than the 214270 14270 I own, and I've built all those memories on it. Now, instead of a printed dial, this was the first time we saw a Rolex Explorer with an enamel polished dial and white gold indices. It was the start of the luxury Rolex, you know? The tooliness was still there, but it did it with a bit of class. This reference paved the way for sapphire glass as well, no more acrylic, and basically the watch now represented what we know today as the Rolex Explorer. When the Caliber 3000 was introduced into this reference, it was a big deal. It was the first time an Explorer had a 4 Hertz movement. It was also the first time an Explorer was chronometer certified. The watch did show its age when it came to the bracelet, no easy link extension on the clasp, but for some reason I loved it more. It felt less of a luxury jewelry piece and more of a tooly piece, and with that I felt there was a more connection with my granddad and his watch to this one. After popping down for my regular monthly visit to BQ Watches, I did something I never thought I would do. I traded my 214270 for this 14270. And people, not only has it given me a great relief, almost like a weight has come away from my shoulders, this watch feels like a match made in heaven. A Rolex Explorer is meant to be 36 millimeters. I've come to that conclusion. The deal was done then and there. On the drive
more
home,
fun to wear,
I did
more
feel a
flexible
bit
too,
sad.
less
It was
pressure
an end
on
of
the
an
wrist,
era.
more
The money I paid for that
more old school.
214270 is still in this watch, and as I said, I feel more of a connection with a 36 Rolex Explorer than the one I had, which to me just felt like it was becoming more sterile as the years went on. I wasn't getting anything from it.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Now, the hardest thing for me to do was to tell the wife. She doesn't really like the watch, but she knows what the watch represented. I was driving one day, she was in the passenger seat, she looked at the watch and said, "Oh, you got the Explorer on, it's fancy." And I thought to myself, should I tell her? Should I tell her? Yeah, I traded it in.
You what?
To be fair, she wasn't angry, but she was definitely upset. And it sort of made me question what I did.
You make memories with the watches, and when you make enough memories, they become your own watch.
And she was completely right. But I wasn't wearing it anymore. There are watches in our watch box that are still there for sentimental reasons. I know all of us have watches either from our dads, our mums, our granddads, our uncles. We may not wear now, but we have to keep them. Well, I wanted to wear the Explorer more, and I just wasn't having fun with the one I had. Honestly, I'm absolutely over the moon with this 14270. I still see my granddad. I see him even more in this watch. I get more of a vintage feel to this. This watch was made in 1998. I would have been 17. Driving up to my grandparents' house every weekend in my Fiesta. The 90s was a great time for me on so many levels, with music, football, college, uni. And in those days, granddad was in my life a lot. I'm gonna wear the hell out of this watch. I'm gonna build memories on it like there's no tomorrow. It'll be the watch I wear on my birthday, next Christmas, wedding anniversary. It just goes to show that this hobby is not black and white. Sometimes we're forced into things, or tastes change
at first
over
I wasn't
years. We can't explain
like a
it
huge
sometimes, but we're not in
of like that brick looking kind of clasp. I don't know if that's like a proper way to call it or not, but after seeing it for more time, I actually think it is pretty nice. It gives it a good unique appeal. The newer clasps I do prefer, but the Rolex clasps that look kind of more like stone, they like stone bricks, I actually do kind of like it too.
in this hobby to make others happy. We're in it to make us happy. And right here, right now, I'm happy. Thank you so much for everyone that's watched me waffling right till the end. You are loved. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click there. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you check this bad boy out?
Very nice. So, everybody, great watch review. The Watch Collector Guy, great videos. Thank you for taking a look at this too with us, and we'll dive deep into some more reviews next time. Here at Chronosapien, I'm going to take a look at a different watch reviewer for the Octafinissimo by Bulgari. Let's take a look very soon. Thanks.